I am very pleased now to introduce a very strong and dedicated mother of three who also happens to be a jazz singer, songwriter, therapist, and a lupus patient of both Dr. Wallace's and Dr. Khalsa. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Meredith Pegula.
What an honor it is for me to stand before all of you very generous lupus supporters to tell you about one of the most important men in my life. A man whose voice is in my head daily, as if he were just sitting on my shoulder, almost kind of annoying, telling me to make positive choices to impact the course of my healing. A man who knew since he was 6 years old that it was his calling to be a doctor when all of his friends in Ohio wanted to be firemen and police officers. A man who authored a wonderful book called The Vitamin D Revolution. A man whose dedication, intuition, and expertise has helped thousands of people to heal and lead more vital and full lives through his work in integrative medicine, blending the research and knowledge of both East and West with his brilliant mind and keen insight. A man who I consider to be my family. I met Dr. Soram when I was 11 years old, 11. And I had moved recently from Rockaway Beach, New York to Santa Monica. Didn't know what to expect, and my mom had found this brilliant doctor, she said, this integrative doctor who was using vitamins and supplements to heal. And she said he graduated, he went to Yale, and he was also an MD. She was very excited about that. So I remember going into his office, and I'll never forget Dr. Soram looking into my eyes with the kindest blue eyes and taking my hand. And I just kept looking at him and thinking, why is he wearing all white? Why is he wearing a turban? Is this what they wear in LA? I am really fortunate to have a very strong belief that out of adversity come many blessings. And Dr. Soram is that blessing for me and for many people. And I know a lot of you are his patient here, and you know what I'm talking about. He is that silver lining in human form who tenaciously helps us to heal and take better care of ourselves with love and kindness, and to be attuned to our bodies. He creates a personalized health program for his patients with lupus. I'm assuming for other patients as well, but I only know from my own experience. Combining herbal supplements and vitamins to improve our energy, because our energy can really be diminished greatly having lupus. It's kind of like having the flu. You all had the flu, and you know what that feels like? So imagine going through that every day, feeling like you have no life energy whatsoever. And with his supplements and his alternative therapies, I've actually had a life, and I have 3 kids, and made it through graduate school, and have a full life, which is quite remarkable. Lupus is a very painful and scary disease. It is. But I really believe from my own life experience that having the right support team is critical in terms of what the disease outcome will be. And I'm so lucky to have the exquisite experience of 2 amazingly talented men, both Dr. Soram and Dr. Daniel Wallace, who's my lupus doctor, collaborate together to join their incredible minds and their thoughts and their opinions I'll be in their office and they will literally just kind of hash it out. Like, what do you think? What should we do? And she's on this much prednisone, la, 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 and the whole thing. And they really come to conclusions that really benefit me quite beautifully. And they include me, even though I'm pretty stubborn about my Western medicines. But Dr. Soram is always the first to tell me when he feels that he needs to defer to the side of the West when it's time to take medicine. It is remarkable to see collaboration in this way. I really owe my life to Dr. Soram. I thank you. I absolutely love you. So please, can you all join me with your open hearts and your compassionate presence to give this wonderful award, the Daniel Wallace Founders Award, to my wonderful doctor, my mentor, my friend, Dr. Soram.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank Lupus LA for picking me this year. And I'm so honored, humbled by the generosity of so many of my patients, all of you who are here tonight, over 100 of you, and for the many patients of mine who are not able to come because they're elsewhere, who have so generously given donations or put beautiful pages in this program tonight, which I've only started to look at. Dan Wallace, I want to thank you for the beautiful work we've done all these years together. And I want to let you know that even though you've never told me this, I know you say to some of my patients, I don't know what Dr. Soram's doing, but those herbs and spices he used sure make people feel better. Just for the record, Dan, I have never actually prescribed a daily dose of parsley or gotten cumulative cumin levels on my patients. My friends tell me that I am full of surprises. 40 years ago, if you had told me I'd be up here tonight when I was graduating from Yale, dressed as a Sikh, being a Sikh, I would have said, you're crazy. What a surprise. And people always want to know, does your Sikh way of life have to do with how you work? And the answer is no, not really. The same forces of illness that I had that led me to finding the Sikh path, which with daily yoga and meditation brought me back to health, were the same forces that brought me to recognize the power of these natural medicines combined with Western medicine that we call integrative medicine. I am very honored tonight to be selected as the physician to receive this award because I am the first physician awarded this who is not a rheumatologist. Moreover, I am an integrative doctor. I work in my practice combining both sides of the coin, pharmaceuticals and surgery, with the other side of the coin, which I want to talk with you tonight about, natural medicines, herbs, acupuncture, dietary changes. You know, there was a time when to suggest two sides to the medical coin was a surprise also. And over the last many years, more and more of my doctor colleagues are calling me up and saying, Soram, now I'm knowing what you've been doing all these years. I have a patient with back pain. What can you recommend? They can't take Advil anymore. Or joint pains. And over these last about 10 years, through patient demand, integrative medicine is being used more and more. And Dr. Oz's show on television is all about the natural ways for us to get well. I am so happy to tell you that there are now over 40 medical schools in our country that have at least a course in integrative medicine. Another secret which I found out is that my staff behind my back calls me the White General. Now, when I heard this, I thought, my God, is that a compliment or an insult? But I realized in my office I am a general because I must marshal all of our resources to help people in this war on lupus. And we must use everything that we have to help people with lupus. And in my practice, I don't treat only lupus, other illnesses. And as an integrative doctor, I have the advantage of being able to use lifestyle changes, diet, herbal medicines, acupuncture, yoga, and meditation to help people to increase their well-being. You know, patients don't experience underlying causes. Dan, maybe you've had a patient do this, but I never have. No patient's ever walked in and said, Dr. Soram, my leukotrienes and my cytokines are just producing so many pro-inflammatory molecules, I don't know what to do. No, no, no. Patients don't live there. Patients come with symptoms of joint pain, fatigue, malaise, many gastrointestinal problems, sleep disorders. And these disorders, although they are addressed by drugs, are often not completely resolved by drugs. And this is where the modalities of integrative medicine is able to look at a patient, as Meredith said in her introduction, as a unique experience that the patient has had with their own individual biochemistry. Rather than being reactive, we in integrative medicine are able to be predictive, personalized, and proactive, to help patients achieve a proactive state of well-being. We now know that our genes are not burned into stone. We used to think, oh my God, I got this bad gene, I'm going to get XYZ. With the new science that's been around for the last 10 years called epigenetics, epi means above, we now know that environmental factors directly impact our genes and are able to turn on or off certain genes. Heredity is not necessarily destiny. In fact, almost 10 years, a group of rheumatologists published a seminal paper in which they said we used to think lupus and autoimmune diseases were exclusively hereditary. But we now know, they said, that only 1/3 of the cause is genetic, 2/3 environmental. At the time, by environment, they meant bacteria and viruses, but now in the last 10 years, so many articles are coming out that show, for example, elevated levels of mercury in your blood is associated, as well as phthalates, which are in our personal care products, the shampoos and the cosmetics that women use, are associated significantly with anti-nuclear antibody, the primary antibody and hallmark of lupus. We now know that genes are activated by the things we do. Our food is information that talks directly to our genes. The chemicals we apply to our body that we call cosmetics and personal care products with their phthalates, our endocrine disruptors, talk directly to our genes. And supplements and herbs talk directly to genes. And vitamin D, my favorite vitamin, and when you have enough vitamin D, you all know it's like a pocket full of sunshine. Vitamin D talks to over 200 of our genes. And the genes that it particularly affects are the genes that promote inflammation. So vitamin D is very important and able to directly talking to our genetics. Now for a moment, I want to turn to the other side of the coin and thank the people from Pfizer for the amazing work that they do, and the other companies that were mentioned tonight. These medicines that you are developing are able to attack the basic biochemistry of lupus and help the patients to feel better and improve their health and not be such an aggressive disease. You are truly a global company because your drugs are able to help people all over the world. But just as globalization is affecting everything, all of us, economically, so too should we be globalized medically. What do I mean by that? Our children are all becoming multilingual. Children are now learning 2 and 3 languages. They're learning Chinese because they know they're going to have to talk to their competitors in China. If they are multilingual, we too, as physicians, should be medically multilingual. We should be able to talk about, as a physician, talk about drugs, but medical doctors should have a familiarity and an awareness that these natural modalities are able to help patients in ways that sometimes drugs are not. And similarly, I say to my colleagues in naturopathic medicine, chiropractic, and acupuncture, that you too should recognize the other side of the coin. Sometimes drugs and surgery are the best answer for patients. Thank you for the direction of this award. Not only is it an award to me, but a recognition that the country is moving in an integrative direction. For the cost of non-integration to the patient is unnecessary suffering, lack of well-being, lost wages, and indeed lost lives. Integration is not just a great idea in theory, for the cost that someone pays if both sides of the coin are not addressed is huge. So even though I am here with you tonight as a medical doctor, I would like to close tonight with a political statement. Just as we now have an African American president, which shows we have made progress on integration, we all know that racism has not been completely eradicated in America. Progress on integration? Yes. An end to the work? No. So too in medicine. Has there been progress in integration? Yes. Is my presence up here tonight an indication of that? Yes. But is the work finished? No. I ask all of you to join me in finishing that work. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Khalsa. Thank you, Dr. Khalsa.